Good morning, and thank you for joining us for SBB Live. I am your host and the publisher of Seniors Blue Book, Amanda Barton. Delighted today to bring on one of our new partners who is going to talk about a product of theirs. Mary Shannon does a lot for the community. She's not only an end-of-life doula, but she's also an advanced care planning advocate. Mary, talk to me a little bit about this side of what you do and the MIDEO card, and also introduce our special guest for today.
Thanks for having me today, Amanda. I appreciate that. We all need to work on our advanced directives and have these difficult conversations. So I'd like to think of myself as somebody who can come in and talk to families and have these difficult discussions as an impartial third party. Today I have with me Dr. Mirarchi, who has developed this amazing, ingenious way for us to get our point across to our family members, to the doctors who are going to be working on us. And I just think it's a great way to keep everything connected so that the right decisions are made during a crisis. And today I'd like to introduce Dr. Mirarchi.
Well, hi, both of you. Thank you for both having me. And I'm excited to be here so we can kind of talk through advanced care planning, especially at this time of COVID. There's lots of stuff happening with COVID. There's lots of hospital restrictions, meaning you can't visit your loved ones in the hospital. There's an overabundance of people trying to tell patients to get living will documents and these other fancy medical orders created. And I think, Mary, you said it best, you have to look at this in an impartial way because there's lots of people and factors influencing decisions. And quite frankly, they're not always the right decisions. You know, and I come at this as an emergency medicine physician. I still practice emergency medicine today. I come at this as someone who made this mistake that we'll talk about and try and make sure we prevent others from making this mistake. But, you know, when I was a resident in training or an intern in training, I made a mistake where I almost didn't take care of a 55-year-old lady because she had a living will and people were screaming at me, she's a DNR, she's a DNR, don't treat her. And I was paralyzed. I was paralyzed by a piece of paper because it's a vague piece of paper and this patient's a medical stranger to me. And, you know, I didn't know what to do for her. I was lucky at the time. I had somebody else who was with me who knew what to do and, you know, pushed me aside and shocked the patient's heart. And she walked out of the hospital alive. Yeah. You know, had that been me alone because of that piece of paper and my understanding of that piece of paper, she'd be dead today. Right. You know, and the same thing happens on the other side. You know, we have patients who are just ready to die and have opted to die naturally. And, you know, we abuse their wishes because we don't understand their wishes as they're documented. And we overtreat those people, preventing them from dying when they want to die. And when we do that, we cause pain. You know, we cause pain, we cause suffering, we cause financial hardship. Right. You know, all of this stuff happening today is now resulting in lawsuits that we keep people alive. So we have antiquated tools, you know, paper documents, and, you know, with the internet and computers, we've gotten better to digitize those documents, but they're the same documents, just in digital format. And we really, prior to having MIDEO, have not had a way to get what you as a patient wants, or your mom wants, or your dad wants, and get that to a medical provider, again, a stranger to you and to your family, in a way that is useful so that they can provide the right care at the right time. And that's what we think MIDEO is about. We think MIDEO is a patient safety tool. We think it's a communication tool. It's a form of video-based advanced directive or medical order. And it's a way to have us provide the right care for you. And that's your choice, quite frankly. It's your choice if you want to receive aggressive life-saving care or if you want to opt to choose a natural dying process because you're ready. And it's not right for medical providers to just trample on patients' wishes.
Right, right. I think now would be an excellent time to show that video that's just such a good representation for those folks that may not quite understand what we're saying. It'll break it down for them. Really good commercial that we have to share with you today.
Okay, I'm going to share screen here. There we go.
When you can't speak for yourself, who will? In today's healthcare systems, your personal doctor doesn't come to the hospital. The doctors caring for you may not know you. Will they know your wishes? What you want? When seconds count, paper documents aren't practical. Doctors need specific terms quickly to know your wishes and to make sure they aren't misinterpreted, so there's no risk to your care, your safety, and possibly your life. Get your My Informed Decisions on video or MIDEO ID card and keep it with your driver's license and insurance cards. Backed with over 15 years of research and development to make sure your safety and rights are protected. MIDEO contains all the information doctors need in the specific terms they need in seconds to make sure your wishes are known. Scan the QR code on your MIDEO card with a smartphone, and then your video resuscitation safety statement can be played.
I am Renee Hilditch, and this is my resuscitation safety statement. My resuscitation choice is full code if my cardiac arrest is witnessed. If my cardiac arrest is unwitnessed, there is to be no trial of CPR.
Visit the Institute on Healthcare Directives for more details at institutehcd.com. The process is simple and will help guide you through it. MIDEO is peace of mind for you and your family.
So that's MIDEO in a nutshell. And through some crafty use of technology and medical scripting, we were able to essentially record you, tie it to some sort of what we call a token. In this case, we use an ID card, and essentially have any smartphone be able to retrieve that video in seconds of you speaking to a doctor or a medical provider in language they understand with a high degree of accuracy. And that's why we're excited about this. We're excited now because now we can give patients a voice in their care. We're also excited because we figured out ways to have insurance companies, the health insurance companies like Medicare and United Healthcare and the Highmarks and the Blue Crosses and the Uniteds, and we figured out ways for them to actually pay for it if you do it through a doctor's office. So we're excited. We think we have something that's really going to keep people safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Mary, how do you fit into this? You work hand in hand with Dr. M. I like how you signed her because you probably knew Mirarchi. I wouldn't have been able to get that right without a little bit of help earlier. So
you did good.
So tell me your role within the organization and how it ties in, especially with you being an end-of-life doula. It really works hand in hand together because you're able to give that information up front to any physician. So how does that all like synergize and work together?
Okay, well, as an advanced care planning educator, I provide basic information and education on healthcare directives and help you understand how the MIDEO process works and get the information needed that Dr. Mirarchi needs to get that process going and just keep it moving along and show them that it's a gift that they can leave for their family.
Yeah, the gift.
So in the midst of that crisis, a family is forced to make a decision. It's difficult. So now you've given your family that gift, you know, and there you are saying what you want, and no one will ever question whether they did the right thing by their mother or father or whoever their loved one is.
That's fantastic. Well, I think we can conclude with the final video that you wanted to show.
Okay, so this video is actually a summary of basically some research that we just concluded and published in the Journal of Healthcare Risk Management. So let's pull this up. And that is why MIDEO is needed. Because right now we just have way too many medical errors that occur in clinical practice. And quite frankly, nobody tells you about these medical errors. It's not something that the hospitals are disclosing openly.
No, because they would be getting probably sued for it. So it's a very innovative technology. Certainly is an amazing thing. I think we've all learned how to embrace it during COVID with a new light. And this sure is a needed service that's going to carry us into the future. So I just really appreciate your time this morning, going through all of this in detail with me, Mary. I appreciate our partnership. Thank you so much for coming on and talking us through this, Dr. Mirarchi. I really appreciate it.
You bet.